hello. This is your Wish Upon a Star lunar horoscope for Wednesday, January 13th, 2021. The new moon occurs while transiting through the 23rd mansion of the moon, and that's at 5:01 a.m. using Universal Time Coordinated and Tropical Astrology. Luna's activation of lunar mansion number 23 during a new moon at 0% light is very potent for completing receptive magic spells while beginning plans for projective magic rituals. Now, Mansion of the Moon number 23 is in effect from mid-morning on January 12, 2021, and that's at 11:15 a.m. through until the morning of January 3rd, and that's, January 13th, from the 12th to the 13th, and that's at 9:17 a.m. So from the 12th at 11:15 a.m. until 9:17 a.m. the next day on the January 13th, that's when Mansion of the Moon number 23 will be in effect, and when the moon will be transiting while new through that mansion. Okay, now with the new moon occurring in Capricorn and at 5:01 a.m. on the 13th, lunar mansion number 23 is magically activated at the exact time of the new moon, at that precise time. I'm Pastor Rosemary, the Astrology Angel. I'm a Rosicrucian seer, biblical astrologer, Christian psychic, and Gnostic mystic. And this is a Readings by Rosemary angelic transmission. The Astrology Angel magical invocations and horoscope prediction method, which we use, should be used with all mindfulness, since very powerful forces of manifestation are unleashed. This is intended exclusively for educational and entertainment purposes. Now, Luna will be transiting through Capricorn from 12 degrees 51 minutes from 12 degrees 51 minutes and 22 seconds to Capricorn 25 degrees 42 minutes and 51 seconds. So that'll be between 12 degrees and 25 degrees Capricorn during the new moon, and that's the 23rd mansion, according to Abraham. Now, the star to wish upon inside the 23rd mansion of the moon is called, the mansion of the moon, the 23rd, is called Al-Sad-Al-Bula. And it's named, the star is named Al-Bali, the star to wish upon, Al-Bali, okay? That resides in the left hand of Aquarius, having the good fortune of the swallower. Now, this is according to Christopher Warnock. Now, ask the angel of Epsilon Aquarii, who is named Requiel, to restore the injured to wholeness, and also to remedy sickness, and also to remedy and have a sort of to heal affliction, and to rejoin friends. Those have been torn asunder, to rejoin them. And again, Epsilon Aquarii is also called Al-Bali. Those are two names for the same star. And the angel is Requiel. All right, now, sorceresses and sorcerers use this mansion to make images that cure ailments, also to bring friends together, to cause divorce of married couples, so there's some good and some bad, and to give detainees an opportunity to escape confinement, a chance to escape imprisonment. The image of a cat having the head of a dog is a rendering which many magicians use to cause cities, villages, and towns to become desolate, also to become ravaged, and to cause these towns and villages and municipalities to be forsaken places, or ghost towns. Now, Agrippa reveals that other names for a mansion of the moon number 23 are Zabadola and also Zobrach. So for number 23, where Warnock calls it Al-Sad-Al-Bula, Agrippa reveals it as being called, at 23 as being called Zabadola and Zobrach. Also understand that in some works that are more ancient, or back in Ptolemy's time, you might see this, they would call it a manzil. You might see it being said to be a different number, like, it might have a different number, 2 digits apart from 23. That's because just like December Deca is 10, but it's called number 12. It's number 12 is the 12th month. That's always done. It's always two digits apart to keep you seeking. Why Some countries use a 10-based system, and some use a 12 decimal-based system. That's because it's 2 digits apart. They keep you seeking. That causes reality, because if you don't seek, there's no movement. Without movement, there's no life. So to keep life going, you have to keep people seeking. You have to say, this one is, 10, and this one's 12, or this one's 23, and this one's, 21 or 25, and you keep it 2 digits apart, and you keep different systems, and you keep people seeking. You keep them going from one system to another, okay? And that's how you make life work. Otherwise, it wouldn't work, because there'd be no life, because there'd be no movement. So it has to be in there. He's keeping everything 2 digits apart. Now, Agrippa also reveals that the purpose of a talisman depicting the body of a feline animal with the head of a canine animal is to cause destruction and wasting. That's the purpose of that. Okay. Now, to add to the magical properties of the rendering, he also discloses that the emblem should be scented with the fur of a dog and made from iron, and that it should be buried in a location where those that buried it have pretended to harm the surroundings. They pretended to harm the surroundings. Just because someone says that there's something wrong with certain land or certain air or certain thing or certain water, that doesn't mean it's always true. They may be doing a magic to try to get you to believe that that's like, for example, to say, they might say it's radioactive and it's causing some kind of mutation. Okay, that has the body of a cat and the head of a dog. That's to cause wasting and atrophy and devastation, okay, of that location, to keep people away from it. And anybody living there might act as if if they believe it, they might become, devastated and they might have atrophy. But a lot of these places, you notice animals frolic in there, and they do just fine, because these images don't affect animals like that. It only affects humans who believe these things. Now, I'm not saying that if it says that if the authorities say that a place is radioactive, or a place is toxic, or a place is radioactive, or poison, or it's dangerous, or whatever, that means you should go there, and just do whatever you want, because sometimes it's true. How can you know whether somebody's telling you the truth, or whether someone's pretending to do to fool you in order to, usually for them to make money and you to lose money? How can you tell? Well, you really have to use your instincts. You have to use your animal instincts. Because if you only use your logic, you'll be fooled. But if you use your animal instincts, if you use the instincts that was given to you by your Creator, the body God gave you has certain instincts. And you will know whether something is good for you or not by the way you feel when you get close to it. If it doesn't feel right, you start to feel sick, or you start to feel kind of like something doesn't smell right, or doesn't sound right, or doesn't feel right, or your stomach feels sick, or you get a cramp somewhere, just stop and don't do it, and don't go there. If you get a bad feeling, if they tell you it's the most wonderful thing in the world and you get a bad feeling about it, don't do it, or don't get rid of it, because your body is the best way to know. And if you're sensitive and they tell you you're too sensitive, you know what? They're trying to hurt you. So if you're sensitive, that's something that your Creator has given you, to be sensitive. So use your sensitivity. And if it feels bad, don't do it, or don't go there. Whatever it is. If you're all up in turmoil and anguish about whether or not to do something, obviously it's not good to do it, or you wouldn't be in turmoil about it. Okay? So use the instincts you were given. Use your body to tell you. Your body always tells you the truth. Other people, a lot of times they're not. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. A lot of times they're fooling you. And why? They want to make money. Always. And at your expense. It's the way it is. It's the way it's always been. It's the way it will always be. So better you know. All right. Now, according to Kabbalistic lore, Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. And Capricorn birthstone is garnet. Now, rosaries and amulets using garnet for Capricorn are magically potent for this praxis. Kabbalistic and alchemical planetary associations, in this instance of a new moon in Capricorn, whilst transiting through lunar mansion number 23, could be utilized with perfumes or essential oils or herbs or flowers, as well as colors. Now, so just understand that we're going to be giving you, like in this instance, Capricorn, one of its associations is Saturn, and Saturn, the metal is lead, but we're going to give you some other associations you can use metallically for making rosaries and amulets, but because you can't use lead unless you're making a specific, unless you're doing evil magic and using lead to harm yourself or somebody else, which we advise you not to do, because I used to work as an RN, a registered nurse, so I try to keep people healthy as much as I can. So, but if you want to use other Saturn references, you can use colors and herbs and oils and perfumes and flowers that are not toxic for your, there are non-toxic associations. And we're going to give you other planetary associations for this specific mansion, as well as for this general Capricorn association and correspondence. Okay. So now, the planetary alchemical metal in this case would indicate, again, lead for Saturn. Now, warning, lead is toxic, and the absorption or the ingestion of this metal can cause or lead to lead poisoning. All right. Therefore, lead is neither realistic nor workable for the operation by common persons using, for making rosaries or amulets or that kind of thing. Okay. Now, lead should only be handled by those that possess the knowledge and skill to do so. Now, Agrippa also mentions that for Mansion of the Moon number 23, the ancients traditionally made an iron emblem of the rendering of a cat's body sporting a dog's head, which was created as a magical talisman for Mansion of the Moon, Al-Sad al-Bula, okay, for the explicit purpose of causing devastation and atrophy. Now, important to note here that according to Vivian Irwood Robson, author of the book The Fixed Stars and Constellations in Astrology, the Greek astronomer Ptolemy gives the precise planetary attributes of Saturn and Mercury to the stars, which are located specifically in the left hand of Aquarius, the water bearer. Ptolemy also mentions that the stars located in the left hand of Aquarius are attributed, again, to Mercury and Saturn are both toxic, however. Okay? Now, most of these planetary natures include the planet Saturn. Most of the ones, that Ptolemy talks about regarding Aquarius have a lot of Saturnine qualities to it. Now, understand that we're talking about Capricorn, but we're talking about a different portion of, the latter portions of Capricorn that are more close to Aquarius. Okay, so understand that to the ancients, both like Saturn, to the ancients, Leo was a very big constellation, and it didn't have Leo in Cancer, just had Leo. Okay, and encompassed what they see now, as Cancer and Leo. Now they have just, they used to have Leo, but now they have Cancer and Leo and other ones. Okay, they used to have Scorpio and Libra. Now they used to have just Scorpio. Now they just have Scorpio and Libra. So you see how this works? So that's why it seems different. But we're talking about the exact stars, where they are in the mansions at this time and what you should use. Okay? And we've done all the research for you and we're going to give you all the correspondences and all the page numbers. You can look it up yourself or use it on, I know you're writing your papers from all this, but go ahead, use it. I mean, go ahead. I enjoy doing this, and if you don't enjoy doing it, well, you go do something you enjoy, and I'll do something I enjoy. And this is why there's no need for money. Because if you let people do what they enjoy doing for free, you won't need money. Because some people don't mind giving. Okay? All right. Now, all right. So we're giving you this precise stars. Now, most of the planetary attributions, again, are going to be associated for Capricorn and Aquarius using Saturn, although Uranus is used for Aquarius as well, but not for Capricorn. We're going to do we're doing a Capricorn lunar mansion, okay, that has these specific stars, this star of Bali, which is, Aquarii, Epsilon Aquarii, yeah, associated with it. So, so this is going to be Epsilon, not Eta, Epsilon Aquarii for Bali, and that is again for Lunar Mansion number 23. All right. Now, So to get into the metals here for the rosaries and the amulets and the bezels and all that, and for the jewelry setting and that kind of thing that you can use safely for yourself and for others. And like if you want to make rosaries, you can sell, because you can sell them very specifically. Okay? You know, you can utilize these videos, and you can do it at the exact right time. You can do very powerful magic. Okay? You didn't think rosaries were magic? Yes, they are. You didn't think it had a meaning? Yes, it does. You don't think the rosary beads being made of a garnet for this, garnet at a specific time, on a specific date, has any validity? Yes, it does. You can do powerful magic. Understand that. All right. So, now since Saturn, and Mercury for that matter, are toxic. So since Saturn's alchemical metal is lead and it's toxic, as we've already mentioned, and it's not practical for most jewelers or for the making of rosaries or jewelry or bases and settings for amulets and talismans and other, so we're going to talk about then other metals associated with Mansion of the Moon number 23, which have practical magical applications for these kind of magical workings. Now also, since the second planetary attribute assigned to the celestial body found in the left hand of the constellation of Aquarius have the nature of Mercury. Okay? Saturn and Mercury. In the left hand of the water bearer, which is also considered toxic for this operation. Mercury is toxic. Quicksilver, it's toxic. Making the use of it impractical, if you're gonna use it, it's gonna be impractical and unworkable, because it's gonna be toxic for you and for anybody else. And besides, it's a liquid. You can't use it for a rosary anyway. You know, it's like a liquid. So it's not practical and it's unworkable. Then we must look at Agrippa's recommendation of using the alchemical metal of iron to do this work, since iron used for chain settings and amulets would not be ingested. Because iron is therapeutic for a lot of people to ingest or work with or absorb, but for some people who have too much iron in the system already, it could be a little bit too much. It could hurt them. You know, iron is more workable, and most people can handle iron, yeah? They pump iron. Most people can handle iron. So, and you're not really ingesting it. So iron is it's okay to use that, you know? It's also interesting to note here that the toxic metals of lead and quicksilver or mercury associated with the star of Bali could certainly lead to ruin and deterioration of the body if they were ingested or absorbed by an individual, and could ultimately lead to the death of a person or an animal. Perhaps mentioning that the magical talisman for Mansion of the Moon number 23 was to be made of iron was a cover, or what is called a magical blind, used by ancient sorceresses and sorcerers to stop those considered profane and uninitiated from using the metals that would sicken or even cause death in both the persons making the talismans as well as the person or persons targeted by the magician. Okay? It is only when we delve deeper into the ancient planetary attributes that we discover magical symmetry and union with modern science. So when magic and science come together, it's when we understand there are blinds here. Because what if somebody wanted to hurt somebody? What if somebody was fighting a war? And what if they used lead and mercury to harm people? But they didn't want anybody to know it because they wanted to, use it to harm some population. Because that's the way wars used to be fought. They would put poisons or toxins in and give it to the people and tell them to go build their houses with it, or put it in the paint they use to paint their houses, or put it in their kids' lunch, or put it in the clothing they made for the kids. Who knows? It's a form of warfare. Okay? So that's why it was kept secret. So people that were not rich could be hurt by people that were rich, or people who were considered profane could be hurt by people who considered them profane. So people who were high and mighty could hurt people that were considered low and not so mighty. Now, somebody said to me in one of my videos, in a comment in one of my YouTube videos, that what are we commoners supposed to use it like I was royalty? I'm not royalty. I've never been royalty. I'm a basic American who worked as a registered nurse most of my life and then worked as a psychic and charged a reasonable amount so working people could come to me for readings. I'm a normal person who has worked all my life. So don't come at me with all your comments about how you're just a common person and you don't like my videos. You know, you wanted me to say I'm not royalty. I'm not royalty. My family has worked. I come from a working family. My husband comes from a working families. Now we work hard and we do our work well and we're trained in our jobs, so we make a decent living. But, you know, and trained psychics can make a very decent living because it's hard work. As you see, it's very hard work if you know what you're doing. All right, enough of that. Now, so in the summary, for the purpose of making rosary change and jewelry settings or amulet bases, one can consider using iron for lunar mansion number 23, as Agrippa advocates if they so desire, although iron is alchemically associated with Mars. Just understand that. So, but it's mentioned by Agrippa, so it's probably the one to use if, you know, since you can't use quicksilver because it's liquid, and you can't use lead because it's toxic. All right. Now, the planetary associations, we have other Kabbalistic correspondences for lunar mansion number 23, and they are as follows. Now, the moon in Capricorn. Luna gives the goat a very attractive quality, as well as expediency and shrewdness. These attributes bestow imperioususness to Capricorn moon, and that ensures that the goat minds to her or his serious and essential life requirements before taking on romantic or social concerns. All right? Now, also, moon in Capricorn people, now the planetary archangel for Luna or the moon is Gabriel. And God is my strength is for Gabriel, and also power of God is Gabriel, and messenger of God too is Gabriel, which are most angels actually, and messenger of God is Raphael. But one of the messengers of God, a messenger of God, the messenger of God is Raphael, but a messenger of God is Gabriel. Now, zodiac angel for Capricorn is Hanael, whose divine tone is I use. And tarot card for Luna or the moon is the High Priestess, sitting between the pillars of Joachim and Boaz, with the crescent moon at her feet, with the water flowing from her over the moon, and with a cross on her chest, and also pomegranates behind her, sitting between the pillars of Joachim and Boaz, with holding a scroll that says Torah, holding the scroll of the Torah, T-O-R-A, in her hands, and this is tarot. That is the word, and this is the pictures of the same Kabbalah. It's all from Kabbalah, all of it. All right. Now, musical note in the ancient Western array for the moon or Luna is F. We're going to play that for you now. Okay, that is F for Luna. And now we're going to show you that the card for Capricorn, the tarot card for Capricorn is the Devil. And you see the Devil, it's actually, when it comes to sexual relationships or to physical health, it can be a good card. It can indicate a person is becoming strong. They might be addicted to something or becoming addicted to something, but they're strong, basically. It's stronger than some of the other cards physically. And it indicates, it's somewhat like the Lover's card, where you have like an angel, you know, with the Adam and Eve. Here you have the Devil, who's an angel, as you see, has bat wings. An angel, Hasatan, or Lucifer, with Adam and Eve here, and one Eve with grapes and Adam with fire, and they're chained to the perch of Hasatan or Lucifer. Okay, and this is because they're becoming addicted to the ego. Now, the ego, if you want to have a lot of something, like a lot of money or a lot of views or a lot of friends or a lot of this, that, and the other thing, you have to have a big ego. The bigger the ego, the bigger the desire. The bigger the desire, the bigger the things you get. Because an ego is nothing but a desire. It's a desire. And there's a lot of ways to get things for your ego through money or possessions or friends or lovers or wives, husbands, marriages. I've only had one marriage, but some other people have more. A lot of movie stars have more, because they saw it it was a trait of being cool and having a lot of money. Some people have a bigger ego, can get you more money, get you more possessions, give you a better life. If you want more of something, you have to have a bigger desire. So if you want to be more rich, you have to feel more poor so that you can want more money. Because if you feel rich, guess what? If you feel rich, you won't get any money because you don't have a desire. They're telling you the wrong thing. And guess what? They're hurting you by doing that. If you want, according to Kabbalah, if you want money, you have to have a big desire for money. And the desire has to be as big as how much you want. So if you want this much money, you have to have this much desire. If you want this much money, you have to have this much desire. You have to deepen your desire, which means you have to feel this much more poor. And then you get a desire, and then you'll go do something to get the money. Or you'll at least, you'll make some kind of energy signature on yourself that will pull the money to you. Understand that. That's really important. That's the truth. And that's from Kabbalah, from studying Kabbalah. All right, which I've done for a long time. Now, if you want to study Kabbalah, I would recommend Dion Fortune's, I'm saying John Fortune, and it's not, is it? I have my book. I can't remember her name anyway. It's the Mystical Kabbalah. I'm thinking of a singer, but the last name is Fortune. Anyway, and so Fortune is the last name, and it's the Mystical Kabbalah. And I think I'm thinking of a singer. Also, and there's the place that Madonna went to for the Kabbalah Center. That's Billy Phillips teaches there. He's my favorite teacher. I watch his videos, and I have some of the books from them. But actually, the books I have from them, and I have some Hebrew letter cards, were given to me as gifts by my clients. I do have a book about the names of God that's very beautiful, and I have the cards that have the names, the Hebrew letters that they got me from the Kabbalah Center. They were given to me as a gift, so I didn't know anything about it at the time. But since they were on YouTube, I saw the videos and I realized it was the same place, the Kabbalah Center. Their videos teach about that, and also a very good place to study on YouTube is from Kabbalah Info with Dr. Michael Lightman and Tony Kozanak. Teach very, very important about, if you want to teach about what we're talking about. Those are very important teachers. And I also studied Kabbalah through various Rosicrucian orders that I was in that taught Christian Kabbalah. Again, the Fortune's book, The Mystical Kabbalah, is to, I'm not sure but her last name is Fortune. Anyway, okay, so the regarding the ancient Western way musical note, the musical note is G for Capricorn. So for the devil card, you can use G. And we're going to play G for you now. It's for Capricorn, for the devil, for the ego. To understand the ego. Given to you by your Creator to receive the things that the Creator wants to give to you. So you have to understand what it is, and how do you know what your body will tell you what you want and what you don't want. So listen to your body, and you're a lot less likely to get hurt. And don't make money more important than your health, because as a nurse, I work for a lot of very rich people. Sometimes, even when I worked in surgery, helping, I worked for a lot of people who had a lot of money, and when you don't have your health, you don't have anything, and the money doesn't really help. Not really. Health is when people say, oh, you got your health, who cares? That I saw that on some TV show, somebody said that, but having your health actually is the most important thing. All good things come when you're healthy. Be healthy, have a healthy body, and keep the environment healthy. and then everybody will do well. We'll all do much better if we make our bodies and our environment and the health of that the most important thing. Okay. Now we're going to talk about where I got the information from. So I'm going to tell you the books I got the information from. The first book I got the information from, firstly, I got a lot of it from my memory because the information that I taught in this video and in the attached document is based on the oral tradition known as Kabbalah. And I was taught by Rosicrucian clergy when I was but a young girl, the facts of which I've committed to memory because I had to memorize a lot of things, okay? And because I had to take a lot of tests. And now much of the information also that I'm giving in these videos now is about star magic was taught to me through an adjacent German pagan coven, which had established satellite covens throughout the world, which I was a member of one of them. I began writing a book based on these extremely important teachings in my own hand. In 1988, I started this book. This is not my Book of Shadows I did in another Wiccan coven. That's a different book. This is a different book. This is a star magic book. You see it has Isis on the front here. And I began this in handwriting in 1988, and now I'm putting it more in typing and in videos, and which I have entitled to be my Star Magic Grimoire, and that's what this is. And also, some other reference books are, which you can look for in an attached document for the page numbers. Mansion of the Moon, a lunar zodiac for astrology and magic, second edition with 2019 to 2033 Mansion Ephemeris, written by Christopher Warnock, okay? Illustrated by Nigel Jackson in 2019, okay? Also, 3 books of occult philosophy, Llewellyn source book series, authored by Henry Cornelius Agrippa of Nettersheim in 1533, translated by James Freak in 1650, and edited and annotated by Donald Tyson in 1993. And then so Llewellyn publication. Now, I have a lot of Donald Tyson's books. They're very good. One of them is about how you can have a magical system that he bases on Mercury instead of the sun, where his Kabbalah is based on Mercury instead of the sun. And his whole magical system is based on Mercury instead of the sun. So it's very, very interesting. Now, and also the Fixed Stars and Constellations in Astrology, authored by Vivian E. Robson, Bachelor of Science, published by American Federation of Astrologers, Inc., and cover design was by Jack Coppola. That's also another excellent book where you get a lot of Ptolemy's information on the specific stars, where you might see some of the lunar mansions are a different number, always 2 numbers different than some of the other. And again, everything's like that. So that's not because somebody's wrong. That's because that's done on purpose to keep you seeking, and to keep me seeking, and makes us seekers. Okay. So thank you for joining us, and join us again, and we have one of these every week. Okay. Thank you.